Today I am going to discuss about the biological parameter which decide the quality of water. Now in previous lecture we already learned about the chemical parameter and physical parameter. Now the last parameter is the biological parameter. In biological parameter there are the three factors which decide this one. First one is the bacteria, then virus and protozoas. These are the biological parameters. Whenever they are present in a water, they affect the quality of water. Now the first criteria is the bacteria. Then these bacteria are classified into three subtypes. It is based on shape of the bacteria, then based on nature of bacteria and based on supply of oxygen to water. Then first one is shape of bacteria. This shape of bacteria is again subdivided into three subtypes. First one is cocci shape. We can see in diagram that there are the small circular shapes. These small circular shapes are the shape of bacteria. It's called cocci shape. Second one is the bacillus bacteria. These bacillus bacteria are rod shape. We can see in diagram there are the some rod shapes. This is the shape of bacillus bacteria. Then third one is the spiral bacteria. These are like a spring one. We can see in diagram these rod shape bacteria are just folding in middle one, and so that shape is forming. This is called the spiral. In general these are like a spring or a S shape bacteria. These are the classification on the basis of shape of bacteria. Now second one is the nature of bacteria. First is the harmless bacteria. It is also called non-pathogenic bacteria. And second one is the harmful bacteria. It is also called the pathogenic bacteria. These are the nature of bacteria. Now third type is based on supply of oxygen. We know that this one is again divided into two subtypes. First one is the aerobic bacteria and anaerobic bacteria. Aerobic bacteria are the bacteria which are work in the presence of oxygen. Means whenever in water oxygen is present, then aerobic bacteria are active, and whenever there is the oxygen is absent, then anaerobic bacteria are active. When the aerobic bacteria are reacted, or whenever there is a chemical reaction, then highly stable end products are formed like CO3, NO3, because it is happen in the presence of oxygen, so that it is called the aerobic bacteria. In anaerobic bacteria, the end product is unstable like acid, gases. In gases there is example is the CO2, methane, then again alcohol. These are the unstable product which are formed due to the reaction in the absence of O2. So it is called the anaerobic bacteria. Now the next point is testing and counting of pathogen in laboratory. Now the methods which are used to count the bacteria present in the water, because whenever the bacteria present in water is count, then we know that the how many percentage of pathogens are present in the water. Then there are again three methods. first one is the membrane filter technique, second one is the MPN, most probable number, and third one is the coliform index. These are the three methods. Let us start with the first one, membrane filter technique. For this technique, take a raw water containing amount of bacteria, then pass this water to a sterile membrane. Means we can take, or we should take the our sample or the raw water sample which containing a bacteria in it, and this water is allowed to sterile membrane. Then what happen, that membrane collect all the bacteria, microorganism in it. Then take this water in a incubator, means this water after passing or after sterile membrane, this water is put in incubator at 35 degrees Celsius for 20 hours. This allow only coliform bacteria to grow and not allow non-coliform bacteria to grow. This is called the membrane filter technique. Means we have to see that in incubator the qualified bacteria colony is formed, and this is the membrane filter technique. Then second one is the MPN, means the most probable number. Now for this calculating, there is a standard table is also there, which whenever there are the factors are outcoming, then match these factors of positive bacteria with that table, so that we have to know that the MPN number. Now this MPN number again formed by using the three steps. First one is the presumptive test, then second confirmatory test, and third one completed test. Whenever water undergoes these three tests, then we have to get MPN number. Then first one is the presumptive test. For this test, we have to take 4 test tubes and put it in a test tube stand in a row, and give the numbers on that test tubes. If in first test tube there is taking 10 ml of raw water or our sample in a first test tube, it is 10 ml. Then in second test tube, take the 9 ml of distilled water and 1 ml raw water from test tube 1. Then in third test tube, taking 9 ml of distilled water and 1 ml of raw water from the test tube number 2. Then in fourth test tube, again taking the 9 ml of distilled water and 1 ml of raw water from the test tube 3. Means we have to collect the raw water in first test tube. There is the 10 ml, it is pure, means there is no addition of distilled water or any water, it is pure form. Then from this test tube we take the 1 ml of raw water and add in another test tube. In that test tube we add the 9 ml of distilled water, means it is diluted. Then this diluted water, again take the 1 ml, means from this test tube we have to collect 1 ml of water and then again add in another 9 ml. Then again from test tube 2, again collecting the 1 ml of water and add in a 9 ml of distilled water in another test tube, means there is the dilution is increases in test tube number 2, 3, 4, means according to last one test tube there is the dilution of maximum dilution in last one. In the same way, the test tube 2, 3, 4 contain 1 ml, 0.1 ml, 0.01 ml concentration, means we maintain this concentration by adding the water sample in successive test tubes. Now take the 5 test tube of 10 ml, 5 test tube of 1 ml and 5 test tubes of 0.1 ml, then add the lactose broth in all test tubes. This is again a uh, bacteria which have to add in all one. Means we have again collected the 5 test tubes of each sample, 10 ml sample, then 1 ml sample and 0.1 ml sample, means there are the 15 test tubes are we are taking. Then these test tubes are again incubate at the 35 degree Celsius for the 48 hours. Means we have to again incubate this one for growing the bacteria. Now if the after 48 hours, whenever we see this test tube or when we observe that test tube, then out of 5 some test tubes are form gases and some test tubes are not forming the gases. If the gas is formed in the tubes, means the test is positive, and if the gas is absent, means the test is negative, means the pathogens are formed in a positive test tube, means in the test tube in which the gas is formed, there is the pathogens are present, and if the gas is not formed, the pathogen is absent, means the test is positive and test is negative. Then the gas forming test tubes undergo the second step. Now we have to collect all the test tube in which the gas is formed after 48 hours by incubating at 35 degrees Celsius for the second test, which is the name confirmatory test. In this test, the green bile broth is added in a tubes and again incubate it at the 35 degrees Celsius for 24 to 48 hours. If the gas is formed, then again we have to check that after 48 hours. Then we observe that if the gas is formed, means gas means CO2 is present, so the test is confirmatory test, and if the CO2 is absent, then test is negative. Now the calculation, means how to calculate the MPN number. For this calculation we have to take the some samples we can see in it table. Then the first is the 10 ml samples, the total test tubes are 5, out of which the 2 are positive, means forming a gas in that 2 test tubes only, and 3 test tubes are negative. Then again the 5 ml 1 ml sample, we are taking 5 test tubes, out of which 0 is positive, means all are the negative. Then again we are taking the 5 test tubes of 0.1 ml sample, then again the 1 test tube is positive and remaining are the negative, means in 2 test tubes, in 10 ml sample 2 test tubes are positive, in 1 ml sample there is no one test tube is positive, and in 0.1 ml sample there is 1 test tube is positive. Now we find the number 201 for the positive test. Now this number is matched with in MPN standard table. So whenever we match this number with that standard table, then we find the value is 7. And if the MPN standard not given, means if the standard table not given, then for calculating MPN number we have to use the another mathematical formula, Thomas equation, is called the Thomas equation. Now the Thomas equation is equal to the MPN divided by 100, means we have to calculate MPN number in 100 ml of sample, is equal to the number of positive tubes into 100 divided by square root of ml of sample in negative tubes into the ml of sample in all tubes. Means we have to calculate now the ml of sample in negative tubes and ml of sample in all tubes. Means whenever we find this one and number of positive tubes, whenever we find out these 3 one, then we have to calculate without using MPN standard table. Means we have to calculate the MPN number by without using standard table. Now for calculating this one, we are taking one example or the problem. Then in table there is in first column, this one is the size of sample, in second column positive samples, and in third one negative samples. Size of sample is first means it is a concentration in 1, then the positive samples are 4 and negative sample is 1. Size of sample, whenever there is the concentration 0.1, it is positive 3 tubes and negative are 2. In 0.01 there are again 2 tubes are positive and 3 are negative. Then 0.001 there is the 0 positive sample and 5 are the negative samples. Means we are again taking the 5 test tubes of each sample. Means whenever we adding the positive sample and negative sample, we find that the 5 test tubes. Then out of 5, some are the positive and some are the negative. Keep it in your mind. Now when the number of positive tubes, now number of positive tubes are the 3 plus 4 plus 2, means addition of that column positive samples are total are the 9. Now the ml of sample in negative tubes, we have to calculate the ml of sample in negative tubes. How it is calculated? We taking the first one, means the 1 negative sample 1 into 1 into 1 means the size of sample, plus 0.1 in second column, 0.1 into 2, then third column 0.01 into 3, and last one addition of 0.001 into 5. Means we have to multiply negative sample into size of sample and add all 4 samples together. So we have to calculate, means we get one figure. This one is the ml of sample in negative tubes is equal to, means the total sample is the 1.235. Now we have to calculate the ml of samples in all tubes, means we have to calculate the all tubes. We know that the each one is the 5, means total number of samples tubes, each sample containing the 5 tubes. So ml of sample in all tubes means 5 into 1. Now first concentration is the 1, second concentration is again 0.1, means again into 0.1 plus 5, then again plus 5 into 0.001 into 5, means we have to find out the ml of samples in all tube is 5.555. Now substitute all the values in a Thomas equation, means we have to calculate. We are already finding number of positive tubes, number of negative tubes, then ml in sample in negative tubes and ml in sample in all the tubes. Now put this value in our Thomas equation. We know that the Thomas equation. So I directly put that value in an equation. 9 into 100 divided by under square root of 1.235 into 5.555. That answer is the 344, means MPN in 100 is equal to 344. Now this is out by using a Thomas equation. Then next step is the coliform index test. It is reciprocal of the smallest quantity of a sample that gives the positive B. coli test. The nuisance causing bacteria and sulfur bacteria are the qualified index test. Now whenever the nuisance causing bacteria is the iron bacteria forms the pitting and tuberculation. We know that pitting means a cavity formation in metal, and tuberculosis means there is forming a pick in a metal due to the corrosion of that metal. Now sulfur bacteria, if sulfur is present in a water and this water mix with a cement concrete, then sulfur react with that cement concrete and that cement concrete undergoes that expansion. Whenever it has the expansion, that process is called sulfur attack. These are the responsible due to the sulfur bacteria. Now the next factor, biological factor is the viruses. The viruses are the smallest living organisms capable of producing the infection and causing disease. The viruses that may be carried by water include the hepatitis, poliovirus. They are very difficult to test for. Usually the large amount of water have to be tested by using a very sophisticated method. Means viruses are the polio virus, then hepatitis A, hepatitis B, all are the viruses. Now the next biological factor is the protozoa. The protozoans are single celled. Usually the microscopic organisms. Some protozoans such as Giardia and Cryptosporidium are commonly found in river, lake and stream, contaminated with animal feces or which receive wastewater from the sewage treatment plant. When a water system uses the surface water and its source Giardia and Cryptosporidium must be removed in the clarification process because they are very difficult to kill with the usual form of disinfections. If the person is infected, the symptoms may last severe or the more days and include diarrhea, stomach cramps, nausea, fatigue, dehydration and headache. The protozoans are very difficult to test for, means the 100 or more gallons of water must be piped through a filter with openings less than 1 micron in size at 1 GPM or less than it. The particles trapped by the filter are then analyzed using a very sophisticated method so determine if any protozoa is present or not. Means this is just a method. Whenever we use the filter having a pore size is less than 1 GPM, then we have to collect all the protozoans, or we have to calculate, or we have to see the protozoans are present in that water sample or not. Then the last point or the last one is the standards for the potable water. We already seen in chemical parameters, physical parameters and biological parameters, means the permissible limit of by Indian government. Means in a water, consumable water, the permissible limit of each one is the our standard potable water. For the turbidity, it is limit is 1 to 5, pH 6.5 to 8.5. These are all in ppm or milligram per liter. Now the total hardness is 200 to 600 milligram per liter. Calcium 75 to 200 milligram per liter. Magnesium 30 to 100 milligram per liter. Chlorides 250 to 1000 milligram per liter. Sulfates 150 to 400 milligram per liter. Nitrate 45. There is no relaxation for the nitrates. Chlorides 0.6 to 1.2 milligram per liter. Chromium 0.05. Then alkalinity 200 to 600. It is equal to total hardness. Biological oxygen demand 30 to 100. TDS 500 to 2000. And oil and greases are the 0.5. Means these are the permissible limit which is given by WHO or the Indian standards. Hope so you understand all the concepts, physical, biological and chemical parameters we are already learned. Here our topic, first topic, water supply engineering is over.